I would like to invite Mr. Nathan Trujillo up. He is an account executive here at Holistiplan, and he's going to be doing a full Holistiplan demo for you. So we're going to be talking through the tax report, scenario analysis, range calc, all types of goodies that you may or may not have seen yet. So with that, Nathan, welcome, and I'll hand it off to you.
Laura, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. What an amazing event so far. And also to the 4,000 plus participants on this call, thank you so much for sticking around. This is the final stretch here. Won't bore you too much. But yeah, realistically today, what I want to cover is just a simple walkthrough through the tool. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people here that are customers already, so if you want to stay on, consider a refresher. Hopefully, I could point out some things that might be helpful. But for anyone who else is brand new, never used Holistiplan before, this is a great way to kind of look under the hood, uh, see how it works, but ultimately how to get started. So, as my grandpa used to say, don't talk about it, be about it. So we'll jump right in and I'll share my screen and show the tool here. And Laura, can you let me know if this is too small or too big? Can you see this screen here?
I can. It looks good to me. I'll let you know as we go. Sometimes scenario analysis can be a little bit small on screen, so I'll jump in if it's too small or if we're getting comments.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, right when you log into the tool here, this is our main dashboard, really explaining some recordings that we already have around the tool, as well as upcoming webinars as well. So feel free to register. If you register and forget to show, it's okay. We'll send the recording. But also, what's new? What are new taxes going to affect? What is also new within the tool? Just little updates around here as well. So that's just our normal dashboard. Going into households here, this is kind of where you start. So the goal with Holistiplan, right, is if 10 to 30 returns fall on your lap today, what are you going to do with them, right? Upload them with Holistiplan. So we aren't uploading any business or state returns. It's only the personal federal returns, so the 1040 or the 1040 SR. So with that being said, this is our households page. All you do is to add a household here. You just click the state that they're in. First name, last name, birthday, add a spouse, click add, and that's one household. Because you could see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 households here. And the goal here is I want to upload that return. So if you have a paper copy, no worries, just scan it, convert it to a PDF. If you already have it, great. There's two ways to upload the return. You can upload the return here or go into the specific household and upload the return here. Now I'm going to click 2024, find it on my laptop here for Peter and Paula Professor, and upload. Now, while that's uploading, it's going to take around 45 seconds to a minute to scan that whole return. Now, we also have a manual review team that will look at it in case you're missing some schedules, maybe a peanut butter smudge is blocking one of the numbers. We'll decipher that, fix it for you. But if we completely can't see it, we'll reach out and solve it. You'll see here on the bottom right, it's refreshing. Once you see the check mark is green, it's all set. You'll see here while that loads is you'll be able to see their age for the household, the state, AGI, marginal bracket, carried forward loss. The moment you see a year colored bubble will let you know when it's fully done, so you can access that tax report and that scenario analysis. One cool thing here is age milestones. So you could completely filter it, but based off the age, it'll let you know things around QCD eligible, RMD age, etc. So by that time, the return actually just uploaded. You could see here it's green check mark. It's ready to go. So two parts of a list plan. One, the tax report, that backward, what's going on in that return, but ultimately clean deliverable so you don't have to dig through 20 to 50 pages of a return. The second part is the scenario analysis, that forward, let's model something out. Roth conversions, capital gains changing, business is doing better. what will that total tax implication be if you did that? So the return is uploaded. You could go into here for Peter and Paula or that specific household and enter the tax report. That is that first part of Holistiplan and that deliverable you could start using right away. Cool thing about this is you could save it as a PDF and print. So you could see here, it's going to give anywhere from 8 to 10 pages. You could share this with your client. This is great for yourself, so you don't have to dig through that return. So starting out here are the key figures. Think of it as your cliff notes, right? Total income, your total tax, marginal bracket, average rate, safe harbor. So investment side here, your carry forward loss, just those key figures within the return. As you scroll down, we want to look at the tax breakdown of everything with that client. So for marginal tax bracket, ordinary income, this example, this client falls under the 22%, shows what's taxed at each bracket, and a nice little graph on the right showing what's filling up. Now, the cool thing here too is this $56,000 here showing how much more until it bumps you up into the next tax bracket. Same concept here around long-term capital gains and qualified dividends, as well as a nice little graph on the right. Now we're going to start breaking out all your schedules. So Schedule A, this is a great place to kind of, and hopefully uncover some planning opportunities. So for example, gifts to charity, $10,000. Does that client plan to keep giving to charity? Maybe it's worth doing a donor advised fund, or maybe a QCD if they're at their RMD age. Just ways to think about how you can maybe save them some money in taxes. So as we scroll through here, Schedule B will pop up, income sources around interest and dividends. It's funny how often we hear sometimes where advisors have clients and they had no clue that they had 10K in their Schwab account. So great place to kind of pinpoint things without digging through the whole return and hopefully uncovering some things maybe you didn't know. Schedule D, capital gains and losses, carried forward losses as well. A look at the tax efficiency of your investment income across dividends, interest, and capital gains. Now, a lot of this might not be relevant to some of your clients. You could go to manage sections on the top right and actually show or hide these categories, even move them around based off priority. Now, I wanted to show Medicare 1 second. I guess that was hidden. So if I go back up to that part real quick, the Medicare Part B and D premiums will actually show you the threshold of where they're at and show those IRMA surcharges that kick in. I'll also show you another way in our scenario analysis of how much more ordinary income you start adding until you start bumping up into different brackets. Now, I know we don't upload the business returns, but as long as it's flowing through their schedule CRE, it'll pop up here. And one little feature that advisors love are we do the calculations for the phase-ins and phase-outs. So you'll be able to see here, for example, this person is in the threshold to do a Roth IRA contribution. Now you'll see these little eye icons here. If you want to hide them, you may just click it. Scrolling down to deductions and credits. And the last part of the tax report are these observations and state tax hints. Now, these observations aren't going to be, we're not trying to give tax advice or complete tax strategies, but we will give you an idea of what's going on. So hopefully you can uncover some planning opportunities. For example, we won't say to do an exact 46K of a Roth conversion, but we will say your client is in a lower marginal bracket, depending on your age and income projections. Maybe it's worth doing a Roth conversion or consider it. Now, we'll give you the tools like the scenario analysis, our range calculator, and our multi-year Roth projection tool to give you those ranges and understand what's best. Ultimately, you will decide. But think of these observations is bumper lanes, figure out what's going on. Same as the state tax hints. So when you created that household, you put their state. This is how we're doing it. We're not all state tax experts, or at least I'm definitely not. So this is just giving you a general idea of what's going on within that state. Now, like I said about the eye bulbs, you could hide them. You can move these around, and you could essentially even edit some of these sentences. Now, depending on your broker dealer or who you're affiliated with, there might be restrictions, but just want to definitely show you the full capability of the tool. And that's the tax report. It's a clean deliverable, just so you do not have to dig through a 30 to 40 page return, try to create it yourself. We want to save you some time there. So that's the first part of Holistiplan is the report. Let's get to the fun part, which is the scenario analysis. Now you could click that here, but I just want to show you another way to get to it as well. If we go back to that household, go back under the 2024 return and click scenario analysis, this is where you can enter it as well. Think of this as the fancy tax planning calculator. You want to model out strategies. You want to do charitable strategies, maybe a QCD, maybe a DAF, maybe a Roth conversion. Maybe their capital gains is going to be changing this year. This is where you're going to see it, and then we want to see that tax implication. Now, we don't really expect you to fully understand how to do it, but coming from me, who's not a CFP or CPA, it's very user-friendly. If I can figure it out, anybody can. On the far right here, guys, there's a scenario recipe. Think of it as a cookbook. These are our most common scenarios, but not all of them. But it'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to kind of start that scenario. So for example, Roth conversion kind of will tell you how to start it. Build a base case, verify your assumptions, utilize the range calc, and so forth. I will also show a little example of a Roth conversion, and I know some people dabbled with the range calculator earlier in the event. I'll also show you that as well. But let's start. So the cool thing is it pulls all that information from that return you uploaded, so you don't have to do it at all. And that's right here. And it's set in stone. All we do is now start copying scenarios. So just copy from that year and start editing. The world is yours now.
Hey Nathan, could you zoom in a little bit, please?
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Let's see here. Does that look a little better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, awesome. So now you could edit anything. So I copied that return. Let's do 2025 base case. You scroll down here. Let's change the year. So you can model out 10 years from now, but we'll do 2025. You could assume sunset or no sunset. And now you start messing with the 1040. You go into any field where there's a pencil in a box and you can edit it. Maybe this person's going to retire. Maybe no more wages. So put that in there. Maybe you're going to add some more pre-tax saving deferrals. Add that in there. Some RSUs vested. Mess with it. Maybe their IRA distributions increased. Change that. Maybe you want to do a QCD. Edit that in there. Maybe their capital gains is changing. Mess with that there. Schedule C. Maybe their business is going to change, or maybe it's going to do worse. Edit that there. The goal here is when you're messing with these fields and modeling it out, you'll be able to see the total tax change. Now, clicking this little triangle in between each scenario, you'll be able to see the variance of what's actually changing, given that this person is going to retire or no more wages. You can see the tax bill drop. Now, just for knowledge purposes, so you guys know, there is more stuff even deeper into scenario analysis. So one of our premium features is state tax modeling. So let's say this person's in California and we want to model out those state taxes based off this projection. Gives you an idea of what's going on and what that state tax could look like here. Even further are the Magi considerations. Phase in, phase outs. When you start modeling things out, messing with income, what does that look like? Now, the cool thing too is the Medicare Part B and Part D, when you start messing with it, will that decrease or increase? You'll be able to see that there, and I'll also show you another example in the range calc in a few seconds. So that's our scenario analysis piece. Now, you're never in the dark, guys. One of the best support teams I've ever seen. But if you ever have a question around anything, one, you could click help, go to our contact support, and they will see exactly where you are. And you can ask that question and our team will reach out to you. Also, if you click help again and go into knowledge base, think of this as the Google of Holistiplan. If you are curious about DAFs, charitable strategy, it'll give you an example where to find that, how to do it. You'll even have some videos possibly. So this is a great place to start and ask questions, not only around the tool, but billing and subscription, anything that's top of mind. Now going back into here, we did our little base case. This person is going to have no more wages. Let's do a Roth conversion example. So you just add that scenario here, copy from the base case again, and I'm going to edit this to Roth conversion. Now, the biggest question that we hear is, well, how much can you really do until you start bumping up into different tax brackets and things starts changing? So we use something called the range calc, which I believe you guys seen earlier today. Don't get scared. I know it looks like the craps table in Vegas, a lot of colors, but it's very simple. It's a visual of how much more ordinary income you add. So real quickly, all these colors here, if you have a question where it says, what does it mean? It'll actually tell you what it means in the color. So net investment income tax is brown. This is right here. It'll tell you what's going on there. So starting on the far left graph with the taxable income and ordinary income here, every additional $1,000 increments will tell you when things start bumping up. Now, to not get too crazy, let's just stick with me on the blue here. So the light blue and an additional $3,000 of ordinary income, the marginal bracket will change from 10% to 12%. If you keep going on that line, right about there, an additional 41,000 before your actually capital gain starts kicking in that red. You stick with me still, you're still actually in the 12% marginal bracket, and there's gonna be another spike. So an additional 76K before your marginal bracket from 12% to it bumps to 22%. So now you could take that back and say, hey, I really want to maximize that 12% and do a 70K, 76K Roth conversion, or a 41K Roth conversion before you start bumping up into that capital gains tax. So one thing before I do that is a lot of people are getting to that Medicare age. We also want to see, well, how much more ordinary income you add until, IRMA starts kicking in. So if you click advanced settings on the far top right in Medicare Part B and D and click always show, these dotted lines just appeared, these vertical dotted lines. This will also show now adding an additional 105, 106K until that Medicare Part B and D increases per person of about $1,000.5240. Same concept here, and an additional 160K-ish until your Medicare Part B and D increases to a little under 3,000 here, so 2,643. So complete visual, just want to let you guys know you guys have this to start playing around with it. So taking it back here, I want to do a 76K Roth conversion before it bumps up to that 22%. So all you do is you go back to the Roth conversion. I'm going to do now 76K Roth conversion. And all we do is go to the Roth conversion area here, type in 76,000. Once I click into that, you're going to see the incremental tax cost of that Roth conversion, the effective rate, and that ordinary bracket of 12%. Now, since we know anything above 76 will kick you into that 22%, just for kicks and giggles, we'll do 78K. And now you'll see that it jumped up to 22%. So simply just want to let you guys know the tools to play around with it. Now, anytime you guys see this purple, these are explainers. We have Roth explainers, QCD explainers, DAF explainers. Gives you an idea of what's going on, what is it about, and you guys can kind of see that tax cost implication, whether you do it or not. And I'll show the multi-year Roth projection tool after this. So now, clicking the triangle in between, you'll see the variance. Hey, we're doing a Roth conversion here. Going down to total tax and seeing the change, and now your total tax bill will go from 7,000 to 20,000 due to that Roth conversion. So that there is the gist of the scenario analysis piece. Now, yes, it's just like the report. You'll be able to print this, save it as a PDF, share it with your CPA and say, hey, does this look right? This is what we're thinking about. Share it with your client. All user friendly here so you guys could see the changes and an easier way to share this with your client. So now going back into households, what I kind of shared was the first part of Holistiplan is uploading that 1040, giving you a nice clean deliverable called the report. The second part of Holistiplan is that modeling out scenario analysis. If I do X, Y, and Z, what's going to change? Now I'm going to show you our Roth projection tool, which is that 5, 10, 15-year Roth conversion, and what is the total lifetime tax savings if you did or did not do a Roth conversion. Now, you going into the household specifically, scroll all the way down to Roth projection. When you create this Roth projection, it's going to ask you some questions. On the far left, these are the questions that it's going to ask you. So you put in the taxpayer 1 or 2, throw in the asset numbers, taxable assets, cost basis, client 1 and 2 tax deferred assets, Roth assets. Now, I know I'm going more or less high level, but we have a bunch of videos that go line by line item, what's going on. Feel free to reach out, do a demo, sign up for a free trial, and we can share those videos as well. We also have some great videos on our YouTube page that actually goes over this exact Roth projection tool as well. But to do the Roth conversion, this is where you could click it. This example, to save you guys time, this person's going to be doing a $50,000 Roth conversion for 10 years. Completely editable, guys. If you want to add a row, you can. Then you're going to add some general assumptions, tax adjustment, rate of return, returns that are cap gains, inflation assumption. Spending, what is that spending going to look like for that client for the next 5, 10, 15 years? Medicare assumptions, feel free to add that in. The life expectancy of that client. For this case, I did 100. And then the income sources. So you could throw in their wages. Are they going to retire in 5 years? So their wages are going to drop. Social Security, pension, annuity, all personal to the client. So when all those assumptions and numbers are put in, you're going to get a nice PDF that gets spit out on the far right. Now, the tax bracket visualizer is the first graph here. I know it's a lot of colors, but the rainbow colors is just the tax bracket. The bar graphs right behind it is the base case and the Roth case. And as you could see here, in the beginning, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you're in the lower tax bracket. The further you go into, it's going to start going into the higher tax bracket. Just wants to give you a visual of what that looks like. But the goal here, guys, is to give you a visual to see, hey, what's the total lifetime tax savings if you did or did not do a Roth conversion? Now, it might be worth it, it might not be, but this is a great feature to utilize to really present that. As you can see here, by not doing a Roth conversion, they're going to spend a little over 1.6 mil in taxes. By doing the Roth conversion, they're only going to spend 504K in taxes, but overall, they're going to save 1.1 mil. This graph essentially visualizes that. Pay the taxes up front now in the dark blue. Over time, it's going to be less. This graph, at what year or what age you're going to start seeing those benefits. And at the end of the day, how much you're going to leave in the pocket. Now there's a few more graphs here. Like I said, we have a great video. We have multiple videos around this. One that you could access now is on YouTube. But one graph people love are these RMDs to really visualize, what those RMDs going to look like if you did or did not do that Roth conversion. And those are just my assumptions that I put in for this client. And just like the report, just like the scenario analysis, you could print this, save it as a PDF, and now you have a nice deliverable to share with CPA, your client, and better understand if it's worth it or not. So we have about 14 or so minutes before. I want to show one last thing is going back into households. By the way, this is another area where you could add more clients to the household, access that specific return you uploaded, the tax reports there, the scenario analysis there. Now, tax client upload link. If you ask for the 1040s and your client sends it, great. This is also another way to create a specific link. It expires in 3 weeks, and your client can upload the 1040 themselves, and it'll automatically populate in Holistiplan. But what I wanted to show you was this tax letter. Now think of this as a depository. Everything you did with the client over the year so that everyone's on the same page when that filing season comes. So anything on the left here, you add any expected tax documents. Maybe you did a Roth conversion on May 20th, 50K. Maybe you did a charitable distribution or a 60-day rollover, or any section here you add. So whatever you add to the right, it's going to populate on this PDF. Now we have two versions. The CPA version, where it's more bare bones, exactly what happened, or the client version, to just show a little more explanation of what's going on. But you could save this and print this as well. Now you have this complete depository of what happened over the year and keep track of your client. So everyone's on the same page. Share this with your CPA, share it with your client. Even great for yourself. So in a nutshell, that is Holistiplan. We want you guys to do more with less. If a bunch of returns fall in your lap today, upload them, scan them in under 45 seconds. You get a tax report. You'll be able to do a scenario analysis, model things out, clean deliverables so that you guys don't have to dig through and create it yourself. I know there's a lot of people here that might be customers. So hopefully that was a nice little refresher and point you in the right direction. Anyone who's brand new, if you are affiliated with a broker dealer, reach out to them, ask what's the proper route to sign up with Holistiplan, look for the right landing page. For anybody who's brand new, independent, you could essentially sign up for a 7-day free trial. And I personally recommend doing a 7-day free trial so you could explore it, play with it, see if you like it before you go live. We're very transparent. So all you need to do is just go to our website here, holistiplan.com, and go to pricing, and you can see everything here. Simply 2 packages, basic, premium. We charge per household. You can upload as many 1040s as you want. We're just charging per the household. And what's the big difference? Premium, you get one-on-one live Zoom sessions with our team and email support, multi-year Roth projection tool that I showed you, the tax prep letter that I showed you, model out state taxes, and essentially everything else. So if you're interested in checking it out, feel free to sign up for the free trial here. I'm sure Laura and the team might even include this link in the chat as well. But we're here if you need you. We just ultimately want to make sure that you feel comfortable using the tool before you even go live. So we're here. Great support team, great sales staff, great marketing team, and we're here to make sure that you feel comfortable before doing anything. And if you ever want to learn more, just set up a demo. Happy to do another walkthrough and answer any questions you may have. So hopefully that was helpful, and thanks so much for staying with us all day long.